Hello and welcome to the 15-minute show, part of the Arsenal Therapy podcast. As always, we'll be broadcasting twice a week, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. In this show, we will be having a chat through the season predictions. So we're going to nail our flags to the wall and come out with some ridiculous opinions. And joining me today is Monty, who you can find on Twitter at MontyOfficial. Welcome to the show, Monty. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm buzzing, mate. I've got a good day ahead. The sun is out. Season's about to start tomorrow. What more do you want?
So yeah, can't wait. First game, 2 days away, Saturday. And I can't wait to see Arsenal in the Prem again, especially after the buzz of Wembley on Sunday and just seeing kind of the new look Arsenal in the flesh for the first time. So can't wait for it. But to get us started, I'm going to get your brain working with a few quick fire predictions. So first up, are you ready to go?
Go for it.
Who will be Arsenal's top scorer this season?
Ooh. I'm gonna tough one. I'm gonna go safe and say Saka.
Who will be our top assister?
Assister. I think Jesus.
Oh, big shout there. Who will win our Player of the Season award?
Odegaard.
Who will be our signing of the summer?
Timber.
Oh, good shout. And who will be our breakthrough stroke most improved player at the end of the season?
Fabio Vieira.
Oh, that's a very good shout, and I think he's one that we've seen flashes in pre-season. Me and you have obviously talked about Vieira, so he's definitely one I think to keep an eye on. I think he's going to play quite a big role. Even on Sunday when he came on, you could just see those touches. He just looked that bit more composed on the ball. So I think he's going to have a big season for us. But the show is obviously us running through our predictions for the season. You've given us a few of yours there with Arsenal players. Where do you see the top four race this season? Because in my opinion, this is probably the most competitive the Premier League's ever been. And we have more teams than ever competing for it.
Well, the one thing I'd say as well, it's more of a top five race now. Especially with the new rules that are coming into the league. But I did actually write down all my predictions. I'm going to say the top five. I'm going to say it in order. I'm going to say it in order from top to fifth. I'm going Arsenal.
Obviously.
Even saying that though, I was reading a BBC article today, and 25 out of 26 pundits said Man City to win. 24 said Arsenal to come second. And guess who said Arsenal to win? Only one.
I know Gary Neville said it in the overlap, but who said it on BBC?
Ellen White, a former Man City player. Yeah.
Interesting.
Even Martin Keown said would come second. But yeah, Arsenal to win first. City second. Man United third. Chelsea fourth. Newcastle fifth.
Interesting. Newcastle's are a very interesting side because they've made some decent signings, but they have European football. So obviously there's a lot being made out of us having Champions League football, but we did have Europa League last year. And so we were still having to play those games. Newcastle, on the other hand, have never had this. The last time they were in Europe, I believe, was the 2012-13 season. They were in the Europa League after finishing 5th or 6th under Alan Pardew.
Yeah.
So it's a long, long time. They've been back in the Championship since then. and it's a big ask for them to keep up with both. And their signings this summer have been good. I don't think they've been exceptional. I think I live and work in Newcastle, so I'm very surrounded by Geordies. And it's one that I think their fans are excited, and there's definitely optimism. But I think they were expecting a bigger summer. And Livramento, for me, real quality player, but that's a big risk signing a player that's just had an ACL injury, because all the checks in the world. But we've seen, as Arsenal fans, we've seen time and time again, young players just never come back. Hector Bellerin, one of them, looked like he could be the best fullback in the world. Never.
Diaby, another one.
Diaby, Ramsey, Eduardo, obviously all leg breaks.
Yeah.
We have seen years of players have bad injuries, look good in patches, but obviously those injury problems never fully go away. So yeah, and obviously you said Arsenal to finish top. Let's have a chat about that, because that's why we're all here. That's what we all want.
Yeah, I think this year is just, and I'm not saying City don't have the fight this year. I mean, City have won the last 3 Premier Leagues in a row, so they definitely don't need to be motivated to win another one. But I just think, considering you saw how Arsenal changed drastically last season when we just missed out on the on top 4 by losing our game to Newcastle, and also the game against Spurs as well. You saw how much fight we had last year, and how much we wanted it. But the sheer fact was, last season we lacked just some depth. That was it. It was just pure depth issues, and we just sort of got tired towards the end, and some key injuries to Saliba really damaged us. This season, I can see us just having more desire, more want, more fire. That's not me to say City won't win a cup. I think they will. I think they're going to be in the Super Cup as well, so they'll probably win that. Because who won the Europa last year? Was it Sevilla again?
Sevilla, yes, they beat Roma in the final.
Yeah, this is crazy, isn't it? They've won that cup like 6 times. But yeah, they'll probably win that. I can see them probably doing like the League Cup or something like that. Yeah, I just think we've got more desire this year, and I think we've highlighted what issues were, and we've patched them over in the summer. Our fullback depth is ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous at the moment. Considering just a few years ago that was like our most needed position.
Yeah.
We've got cover up front. We've got a midfield that can chop and change in many different ways. We can go to a back 3, back 4. We can go to 2 DMs. We can go to 2 attacking midfielders. We can go to 2 8s. Like, it can be really. We're just a much more complete team this season, and I think just pure motivation wise, I think we'll get it. I think we'll probably end up getting knocked out Champions League, maybe like a decent run in, maybe quarterfinal, semi-final. But I can see us taking the league.
Yeah, well, I actually think there will be less fire this year. I think that was one of the things. As much as I hate to admit Gary Neville was right, I do think the emotions maybe did get in the way towards the end of the season. And I think the likes of the Southampton game, there was, because we had kept coming back from those late, when we go 1-2-0 down, 3-0 down at Southampton, or 3-1 down, there was that belief we would go on and just come back. And I think that probably hindered us in the end. It was that emotional drain. The injury to Saliba was massive. Partey's, I'm still convinced he was injured at the end of the season and playing through it. But I think that's last season. This year, I think the depth is the key thing, because even shutting games down, the ability to take Odegaard off, bring on Jorginho, have Partey, Rice, and Jorginho, with Rice, that more forward player, just really pressing, winning the ball, and you've got Partey and Jorginho just literally shutting the game down, the whole kill a game with 1,000 passes. And that's something that we've never had before. So I see a bit less fire coming from Arsenal, but that hunger to be really there. But the big thing being maturity. And that's how City win titles. It's just literally clinical, steel, like there's no emotion to what they do. And I could see a lot of our games becoming less emotional and more let's get this job done. 60 minutes, make changes in a way we haven't done before, get some of our key players off, and hopefully see Saka not playing the full 90 in games that when we're 3-0 up after the hour mark. So that's what Pep does very well with his key players. But on to the top 4 or 5. Man United are the team that I'm probably the most worried about. But talk to me about Liverpool.
Liverpool, I don't see them competing in the Prem. I think they'll win Europa League though. I think just European pedigree. And I think they don't know how they do it. They just always end up doing well in Europe. But I just don't see the depth for them to compete in the league. I just see teams that are better than them, honestly. I have Liverpool finishing 6th in my predictions. Only just getting in front of Aston Villa and Brighton. I think like Liverpool they've highlighted somewhat what they need. They're starting to change their midfield, which was old and just generally needed a revamp. I still think they're a good 4-3 signings though. I mean, if you've got Curtis Jones in your starting lineup, you're not a serious club to me. I just don't think I don't rate him as highly as some other young players in the league. I think he's just not that level for like top 4. So there's some worries there. I think they're just missing a few key players. I think next season will be a big one for them with a new window. I think they can get some players in. And they'll be sort of challenging again, but I don't think this year is going to be their year.
Yeah, I think they score a lot and concede a lot. It's the 2 additions. Szoboszlai obviously needs time to adapt, but he's a big, strong boy. His goal scoring record isn't actually great at Leipzig. If you watch his comps, he bangs them in from all angles, but he doesn't score that many. Alexis McAllister, again, very good player, really rate him highly, and I think he was excellent for Brighton, good on the ball, hard worker. But again, he scored 10 goals last year, but 6 of those were penalties. So he goes to Liverpool, Salah is going to be hitting the pans. Can he add that 3-4 more goals to his game? Although they do have Luis Diaz coming back, Darwin Nunez, second season, he's someone I think is going to be good because his movement is fantastic. It kind of reminds me of Cavani a bit in that sense, but it's a case of he keeps getting in the right areas, he will score goals, and we had difficulty against him at the Emirates. He caused a lot of problems that day, obviously scored a nice goal, but they're an interesting side to watch out for. The ones for me that I think are going to struggle, and I think every Arsenal fan will welcome this, is Tottenham. The Harry Kane thing will linger over them until he either signs a new deal or he leaves the club. And Maddison, brilliant signing, player I would have liked to see at Arsenal. But I'm looking at the other signings. They've just signed that centre back for 50 mil. Can't remember his name, but again,
it's a player. Goalkeeper as well, didn't they?
Yeah, but they wanted David Raya, and so their first choice, Brentford said, "Not a chance, lads. 40 million or get to France," and Arsenal come in 3 million loan offer, and they're like, "No problem, lads. We'll help you with FFP." So Spurs must be absolutely raging with that, but I just think they're going to struggle because as good as the football is that they're playing in pre-season and they're knocking about very nicely, the reality is they don't have the players. They don't have a good squad. They've got some good players, but they don't have the depth. They don't, even their starting 11 is nowhere near Arsenal, City, Man United, Liverpool. I wouldn't throw Chelsea into that mix because I have no idea what Chelsea's team is.
I'd say Pochettino though. I can't see Chelsea having 2 bad years.
No, I think they'll maybe finish 6th. And the big thing with Chelsea is there's so much kind of work to do to just work out who can play. So yeah, but on to relegation. Who do you think is going to go down?
Bottom 3 I've got Wolves, Luton and Sheffield United. I think Wolves are going to really suffer because Lopetegui left and he was a top manager. I think he purely just left because like it was just a bit. The whole operation at Wolves is just a bit of a mess at the moment. I mean, they've lost Nevas, they lost Moutinho, they've lost Jimenez to Fulham. These are like their like key Portuguese players that they had, seeing as it was like Portugal FC. And now it's gone pretty much. And they haven't really replaced them. They haven't really replaced anyone with them. They're in a really bad FFP situation. Maybe they try go for loans. Maybe. I think they're really going to struggle. I think they're going to. That's definitely the start of the season. They're really going to struggle. And maybe they start to warm up towards the end of the season and perhaps nip West Ham, Burnley, or Bournemouth to the bottom. Because I've got those three sort of just lingering in front as well. Then Luton. I like Luton. I'd love them to stay out. I think it'd be great for the Prem, for a team just sort of that small in size and just with their story, be like another Bournemouth. To stay out, that'd be nice. I don't think Sheffield. I think Sheffield United is going to flop, even though they sort of seem to have dominated really last season. Same with Burnley. I can see Burnley staying up. I just think because they know it. Some of the players that they already know the Premier League, they didn't sell everyone. They know what's required, and they know it's just going to be a defensive battle throughout the whole season. But I think Sheffield United will try and play their football too much, and it will punish them.
Yeah, I think I've got Wolves, Everton, and Sheffield United to go down. I think Luton might just stay up. Everton are a team not making many good signings. It will be the Sean Dyche factor if they stay up for me, and their side isn't good. They've lost kind of their core good players over the season. And but yeah, I think Burnley have made some good signings. Vincent Kompany's there. They've got a good setup. I could. Burnley's not a nice place to go either. So I could see Burnley maybe finishing 15th, 16th. I'm going to say, I'm going to say Luton by the skin of their teeth will stay up by a point or something like that on the going into the last weekend. If they're playing at home, the big atmosphere, small ground, everything goes for them. But Wolves, for exactly the same reason, it's gone stale. I think the owners have maybe got bored. I had a chat with my mates got a season ticket at Burnley, regular watcher of this show as well, and we were chatting about this the other day, just about where it's gone wrong at Wolves, and he was saying to me basically, there is two halves to the league, and there's a couple of mid-table clubs, and everyone else is either top or bottom, and you've kind of got Brighton in there and a couple of other clubs, but everyone else can either finish top four or go down. And even Aston Villa are a club that you could be pushing for the top 4 or 5 this season as well. So yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Wolves, Everton, and Sheffield United going down. I think Sheffield United have just lost Sander Berge to Burnley as well. Yeah, I think that's a big signing for Burnley. He can play. He's good defensively, and he was linked to Arsenal a few years ago, so it's a good signing for Burnley.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you said sort of that Spurs will struggle this season. Where do you have them finishing this season?
I'm going to go 7th.
7th. I've got them 9th.
Whoa, I like that.
Literally, my top 10. This is like my top 10. I've got Arsenal, City, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Newcastle, then Liverpool, Aston Villa, Brighton, Spurs, then 10th Brentford.
Whoa, that's a good shout. And I think with Ivan Toney back in January, we're going to see Brentford second half of the season really strong. I also really like Mbeumo.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can see Tony getting bought in January, though. I can't lie. I can see the club coming in midway, like panicking, like I'm panicking.
I've always thought he'd be a good player for Arsenal because he's not just a target man; he can play. So but I think the money it would cost to get 20 out of Brentford in January before he goes into the last year of his contract next summer is a big ask. But yeah, so I very much like the idea of Spurs finishing 9th, Arsenal finishing first. So let's wrap up the show on that note, and hopefully on Saturday we are talking about an Arsenal win. So yeah, and a repeat of last season with Arsenal putting 5 past Nottingham Forest. So thank you again for joining us, Monty. And if you've enjoyed the show, please hit the like button, subscribe to the show, and keep helping us grow this channel. And have a great day. Thanks, everyone.